Paul Brown said to me, son, act like you've been there before. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just barely got on the field. I hadn't been there before. So
I'm glad to be part of that trend. You know, sun's out, guns out.
How about Isaac Curtis on one side, Charlie Joyner on the other side? A lot of quarterbacks were very envious that I had those two weapons to throw to, but...
Now, wait a minute. Is it fair that Pat McInally is still the sexiest guy on our team? Is that...
You got me there. You got me good.
Donald, how you gonna be in that video not represent with a chain and your tango, man? I got mine on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's great. That's priceless.
There are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Let's put the backdrop on, Jamie. See if Marissa's okay with it.
Yeah, I got her back. Starting the Canadian fan club up here for you.
That is so funny.
My last touchdown, and that's what Joe Burrow's going to end up like if they don't start protecting his ass. It's going to be the next David Klingler, David Klingler.
There's no Spanish-speaking people here, very few. So we, fast forward, we go to the Super Bowl in Miami, and the word was the Bengals have two big Mexican offensive linemen. They don't know how to speak Spanish. So I got down there and started doing these interviews in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, we heard you don't speak Spanish."
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? But I got on the plane one day in an all-red Suge Knight suit. And boy, Joe Walters and the linemen, they destroyed me. I thought for sure I was so clean. I had some gaiters on, all red suit on. I was Suge Knight. They roasted me.
The head coach was the pain in the butt. The Jerry Glenn, he would thought he was. If you didn't know who he was, he walked out there like he owned his state. And I always say, if I could get a chance to hit him on the sideline, I would.
I'm tackling your ass, Pete. I'm shoestring low on you.
But I got to tell you, you have been stepped on, son. You would have had cleats everywhere.
Well, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Yes, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Again, I got nothing from you guys.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Talking Football with Bengal. Jim and friends, guys, fresh off Cancun, the tailgate in Cancun with Carrie and Anthony and Brandon and Hannah and Trisha and myself. I'm refreshed, ready to go, guys. Wish you were there with me. I'm just saying.
We had a pretty smooth show last week. Just saying, Tom kept everything in line.
He did. He carried the show.
Just showed up.
We did watch
about beer, and we talked about beer.
We watched from dinner that evening from down in Cancun. But thanks, guys. You guys, as always, kick butt on that. But a lot of stuff to get to here, guys. We have Seth Tanner, director of current communication manager of the Cincinnati, content manager for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got Kenny Anderson coming on soon after. I think Thursday was the Ring of Honor announcement. We have Kenny Anderson coming on at 8:30. And we hope there's a surprise for Kenny here at 8:45. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. But a lot of stuff to get to before Seth comes on here in a little bit. So let's talk about a few things. So I don't know if everybody got the city up north changed the name of their baseball team from the Indians to the Guardians. I don't even want to know why, just whatever, mid-season. But a local Cincinnati fan came up with a really great name for the football team. Can you go ahead and play that video, Jamie?
It was up to you to name the team. What would you have named it?
Cleveland Trash Cans.
He was so serious when he said that. So serious.
Didn't even miss a beat.
Can you imagine the with a helmet on the helmet, just a garbage can with this garbage spilling out? That would be the best helmet ever. He's fitting too.
I mean, they're giving those in the trash game a bad name, but that's okay. That's okay.
Good stuff. So, guys, a couple things here. First of all, we want to say welcome to our friends from Who Dey Nation Facebook page. Make sure you watch, subscribe, follow our friends from Who Dey Nation. They're the best. So make sure you're following those guys. Also, we have a birthday this week, and I'm probably forgetting people because I didn't look up a whole bunch of stuff here, but our friend, the best artist in the world, Hollis. It's his 20th birthday, I think, right, Josh? Something like that, 20th?
Times 2. Yes.
Yes. 40. He doesn't look a day over 20, for sure. But happy birthday, Hollis. We love you, buddy, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Looking forward to having some beers with you here soon. So also a format change, schedule change for the show. So every football season, just like last year, when football season gets close, we go from Sunday nights to Tuesday nights. So on August 17th, we're going to move the show from Sunday nights to Tuesday nights. So that August 17th game, isn't that kind of the middle of the preseason schedule there, James?
The 14th is that Saturday night game against Tampa Bay. That following Tuesday will be our first Tuesday night of the football season, as we traditionally do. So we know Sunday's football season is hectic, so we're going to go ahead and transition a couple weeks early, get everybody ready. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., just as we did all last season. You'll find us here. So a couple more weeks here, but just planning ahead. August 17th, back to our traditional Tuesday nights during the football season.
Yep. And guys, let's talk about this announcement, the Ring of Honor announcement. There was no doubt in my mind the Bengal fans were going to nail these first two outside of Munoz and Paul Brown, right? And they got it right. I would love to know the percentages. I'm sure it was 70+% for Kenny and Ken here. Much deserved. Bengal fans, you nailed it, guys. You absolutely nailed it. I think these are the easy ones. The next two, I think there's going to be some really good discussion and debate around the next two that go in next year. But what's really cool, I mean, if you guys listen to the announcement, not just Ken Anderson and Ken Riley going into the Ring of Honor on the September 30th game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That game is going to be crazy down there at Paul Brown Stadium and the tailgate and the game. But the Super Bowl 16 team, a lot of those members of that team are going to be in town for that game to celebrate with Ken Riley's family and Ken Anderson. That's going to be a really cool thing to see, guys.
That's good. There's already enough hype for that game Thursday night, prime time, and then with everything else going on in the Ring of Honor, then adding the other teammates. It's going to be a special night, and then stay tuned. We got a special announcement for the tailgate that night as well. So it's going to be a lot happening that night, as you alluded to, Jimmy, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, it's going to be good stuff. So Josh, I got to ask you, man. So Sam Hubbard signs today, brother. That's a hell of a deal. I think it's a great deal. 4-year, $40 million extension. Solid player, fair deal. And I know your wife was pretty damn excited about that deal, right?
Yeah, so the news broke, and I didn't have a chance to see it yet. I noticed that the house was very clean. Beer got purchased at the grocery store, which was a little unusual. I thought, okay, my cooler's restocked. That's pretty awesome. A couple other things went on, and I thought, what is going on? And then I click on my Facebook to see that Sam Hubbard signs an extension, 4 years, $40 million, an extremely team-friendly deal. And I realized that my wife was ecstatic that her man was back in Cincinnati. So a great day in the Huffman family household today. So
we all have that one guy that if our wives had to leave us for somebody, my wife, Bon Jovi, would be her guy.
Yeah.
Josh's wife, however, Sam Hubbard, he's pretty close in town here, man. So we got to make sure we keep an eye on that.
Hey, it is what it is.
It's a great signing. Everybody knows local kid, Ohio State product, third round draft pick. That's just, I think, exceeded expectations. And to lock him up, as the Bengals do, for those that are rewarding and deserving of it. The Bengals have proved that in the past, and here we are with yet another example of that. And you got to be excited for the 4 year deal and keeping 94 locked up in Bengal stripes for the foreseeable future.
I think in getting him, it really paves the way. Probably, if they don't get him, they'll do a full court press to get Jesse Bates signed before the regular season starts. So I think with getting Sam signed, they know that much more about where the budget is for next year and moving ahead and getting Jesse Bates because we've got the best safety in football. Why not keep him?
Yeah,
I think this just feels like a continuation of the Bengals making the right moves. There's nothing that they've done so far that I scratch in my head, whereas previous years, you're a couple moves they're making, you're going, what are they thinking about? So that's my take on locking him up.
Yeah, it's a great deal. And I think Bates is, I wouldn't be surprised to hear something on Bates here very, very soon. He's obviously a key part of this foundation of this team and that defense too. So don't be surprised if we hear something about Jesse Bates here very soon, guys. So that's going to be fun. The other thing, too, I don't have the names in front of me, but the Bengals picked up another offensive lineman center, I think, and they're also talking to
Austin Wright.
Kansas City. Yep. So, Tom, talk about that dude, man. He'd be a big pickup.
Well, when you started the last two Super Bowls, you're probably doing something right if you're a Super Bowl center and a Super Bowl champion. And I like this move because it's not a move of, well, we think Trey Hopkins is good, if not. Now we've got, Hopkins, Price. You drafted a center. You just picked up a center that has some starting experience from Arizona. And now Ryder's not signed yet. He's just Ryder's coming in tomorrow. He's coming in for a visit. But I would say 80% of the time when the Bengals have somebody in for a visit, there's some optimism he's going to sign. And, and if nothing else, it'd be great to have a veteran like that for the youngsters we've got at guard. So it's a very proactive move, and it's great to see not just getting talent, but getting depth, especially at offensive line.
Hey, Tom, you're breaking up pretty bad. I don't know if you're able to kind of sign back out, maybe get back in. Maybe that'll help. Jamie, what do you suggest there?
Yeah, I just sent him a message.
Okay.
And then what it is, he alluded to bringing him in for the meeting, and I think what seals the deal is that steak at Jeff Ruby's. Once you bring him in, the free agent, they go to Jeff Ruby's, have that steak, and then with dessert, with dessert, they bring out the contract to sign, and it's like hook, line, and sinker.
They get the Joe Burrow steak with the it's all good, brother.
Bless you, Cajun sauce.
Yep. Jeff will take care of us. I promise you that right now, guys. So a couple other quick things. Memorabilia show reminder: August 28th at 16 Lots from 5 to 7 o'clock. Again, just bring your memorabilia. We're going to stream the show live that night from 5 to 7. Then at 7 o'clock, we will be doing Bengal trivia there. And David Fulcher will be in house. There might be some other Bengal players there as well. So there'll be more news coming out about that. So there is a invite out. I think this one we just did on Facebook. So if you're interested, you're able to make it. Make sure you RSVP to that. That's going to be a really big night. We expect a humongous crowd at 16 Lot as well that night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you lock that date up, 8/28. One more thing. July 31st, Saturday, which is this Saturday. This is the back together again. First big practice here at Paul Brown Stadium. I think this was at Paul Brown Stadium, inside the stadium. From 11 to 2 o'clock, we are going to be at the Blind Pig. We have the entire Blind Pig to ourselves, inside and outside, so it can fit a ton of folks inside and outside. And then from 11 to 2 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock, we're going to walk over to the stadium. You go to the pro shop, whatever you guys want to do, get in the stadium. Gates open at 2. So if you can join us, great. We were initially thinking about doing a massive tailgate that day, but I think we're going to kind of step back a little bit. We're just going to do the event at the Blind Pig from 11 to 2 and head on over to PBS there right across the street, a block away from the stadium. So we'll see everybody this Saturday on that. So, Josh, we're going to go ahead and right now just skip the memorabilia piece for a little bit, and we'll come back to it. I think we have Seth in the room, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and bring Seth on. Seth, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. Bear with me. I hope my signal is coming along pretty good here. It seemed like it was a little sketchy. If it's bad, just let me know. I'll jump out, jump back in. But yeah, guys, thanks for having me. This was all very last second, but glad to be on the show.
No, we appreciate it, Seth. It means a lot. But so before we get going, we got a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people are real excited about some of the stuff you're going to talk about tonight, Seth. My buddy James on the screen here has a very legitimate, serious question to start the interview off here. James, go ahead and get him.
I already know what this is going to go for it, James.
Well, you already okay. So I was just happened to be perusing your LinkedIn profile and noticed that you went and spent 4 years of your life in Muncie, Indiana, in lieu of the best communication school in the country, Syracuse. What prompted you to even go to Muncie?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad you didn't ask the other question. I thought this was gonna be, so thank goodness you didn't do good enough deep diving on the internet for me. But this is great. I went to Ball State just by dumb luck. I wanted to get into sports broadcasting, sports production, and I was part of like the inaugural class of the Ball State Sports Link program up there. So I was up there. Somebody had a club, and they're like, "You want to shoot sports with us?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
There you go. Okay.
We have our research team trying to find the other thing that you didn't want to ask for, so we'll circle back to that in a little bit.
Hey, so I got it all, but there's some things I could not bring up on the show tonight. Just playing, Seth. You're good, buddy. You're good. So Seth, we had a ton of folks watching right now. So just kind of give everybody, obviously, your title of content manager for the Cincinnati Bengals. We've all been seen and feel since you've been there different as fans, right? And you're a big part of that. But give everybody a little bit of background about yourself and a history of yourself and kind of your role with the Bengals specifically.
Well, as James so eloquently put, I went to Ball State University. I did a program in telecommunications there, headed down, like my career took a ladder sort of approach. I started out at a mid-major university. I headed over to an SEC school over at Ole Miss. After that, I worked with Kansas City Chiefs for 3 years, got my Super Bowl, and then I was ready to come over to the Bengals. Met Elizabeth Blackburn and Emily during that interview process, and it just made a lot of sense for the next step in my career. We're building something great at the Bengals, and I've got to shape essentially a content philosophy around what I believe in. And so far it's been pretty successful. There's so much more room to improve on. And that's what this next year is taking that next step. And we're not trying to just do it on social media. I'm glad that so many people are really enjoying the social media content, but where I make my living, where I live and breathe and bleed is in game day entertainment. Like I have so much fun in that world. And I know that's an area that so many people are invested in, and we want to make sure that we're providing an experience that's very different from what they get at home. I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about community-based game day entertainment. We want to make it feel like it's a real community inside of Paul Brown Stadium. So that's what 2021 is going to be. It's about establishing traditions and really giving the fans something that they just haven't had before.
Yep. So, I mean, that's really, I mean, that's, you know, kind of doing some research today and kind of looking at some things when you make the comment that the fans of the Cincinnati Bengals will get something they've never experienced before this September. What can you provide? I know there was an article today that was posted on the internet. Can you dig into that a little bit for us? What can you share? And what are we talking about? What the fans are watching, they're looking right now. What are we going to see uniquely different this year in the stadium as game day experience?
Yeah, so the first thing we started talking about was the ruler of the jungle tradition. That'll happen pregame, very similar to what a lot of different teams do, but it's ours. Like, it's going to be the Bengals. So it won't be it's the same approach as what a lot of other teams do, which is establishing something right at kickoff that everybody can partake in, and they feel like it is Houday Nations. From there, a lot of things kind of build off of that. So that means we're going to have a presentation stage that is going to be the center focus for a lot of things that are going to be happening throughout the game, including the ruler of the jungle. We're also going to be doing an enhanced pyro show. So there's going to be more fireworks than there have been in previous years. That includes touchdown shots. So touchdowns, we're blowing it up. And then we also installed LED lighting into the stadium that is, sorry for the jargon, on DMX controls. So a lot of the things that you've seen over in Green Bay and other places, we won't be able to do it after touchdowns. The league has put out a notice that those lights won't be allowed to be used while players are on the field. But pregame, halftime, postgame, you're going to see a really cool light show that pairs up with everything we're doing on the field. There's too much to list. I know you all Jim. I know you're really excited about the Ring of Honor. There's going to be a lot of stuff centered around the Ring of Honor that I'm really excited about. It's going to not only appease the fans that have been following the team for decades and decades. It's going to be a real great educational process for the new fans that we're bringing in as well, to highlight the really prolific players of our past. And it's not just going to be around the Ring of Honor ceremony. We really want to like honor the players continuously throughout the season.
Yep. So what, the fans right now, Seth, and I know we each have a question or two for you, but I have never in my life been a fan my entire life. I have, again, because of social media and some of the things you're involved with since you've been there. I think you got there last year right before COVID hit, or right during COVID, right? So you started at kind of an opportune time for you, right? But I think the feeling that we get out here as Bengal fans on social media, no matter what form of social media people are on, the fans feel like they're more engaged with this team than ever. I've been a fan my entire life, and I've never felt disengaged with the team and the franchise. Elizabeth Blackburn and the Brown family have been very clear. Their goal is to win a Super Bowl. And I have to ask you, is this one of your goals, Seth, to make the fans feel more engaged with the team than they ever have been before? Is that something that is on your list of things to make sure you accomplish?
Man, priorities number 1 through 5 is winning a Super Bowl. I'm like, I hate to be at my old school kind of guy, but at my old school, we went to the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. We did the Super Bowl parade. It is a feeling unlike anything else. The day that comes to Cincinnati, it's going to be unbelievable. Like, the feeling is overwhelming. You're talking to a guy who cried on the field after Patrick Mahomes and all of them did their Super Bowl run. Those are the most important things to us at the Cincinnati Bengals. Everything else is supplementary, but that's my job. I'm in charge of the supplementary content that needs to get out there and to provide people an entertaining time, whether we win or lose. I talk about this all the time because I came from Ole Miss, and a saying around Ole Miss is we may not win the game, but we're always going to win the party. I want to win the game and win the party every single time.
I like that. Seth, you're going back to your profile. It says Crowd Insider, which I think is awesome. Describes what you're going to be doing, leading the charge at Paul Brown Stadium. But with the diversity of our fans, we'll have a 4-year-old kid to a 40-year season ticket holder. How do you cover all the bases on this new game day experience that you're going to roll out and make everybody have a good time?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the trick. You got to find that balance of what's going to make the 30-year season ticket holder happy and what's going to entice new fans to keep coming to the games. Everyone knows that music is probably the most subjective thing, and that's where a lot of focus is this year. You would not believe how many hours and hours that we've spent on trying to revamp the music in a fashion that we think is going to make the most amount of people happy. But yeah, you're right. It's completely subjective. So I kind of I act like I have a finger on the pulse of what people like, and hopefully it works out. So no guarantees. I'm going to have some flops. It's going to happen. I'll make some video and it's going to just flop out there. And that is the way it goes. It's kind of the way you've learned from your mistakes. And eventually, this is the first year of this new revamped show. You saw us do a little bit of different things last year, but this is the first year where we're really focusing on game day entertainment. And you're going to see some flops, you're going to see some victories from us, and we're just going to build off of that. So while this first year might be a little bit more experimental, trust me, we're going to build a show over the next 5-10 years that is going to be unforgettable, that everybody can be really proud of.
Yeah, it's interesting, Seth. So as you look at the diversity of NFL fans, not Cincinnati Bengal fans, but across the board, you've got your diehards like us. We're going to be there, win, lose, doesn't matter. We're going to be there game day, pouring monsoon, rain, weather. It doesn't matter. We will be there. You've got casual fans. You've got other folks that will be there. There's no fan that's better than anybody else. But, I mean, I would think engaging live audiences, right, it's when you have the NFL's kind of done it a little bit to themselves, right? The NFL game day experience and statistics, and you can sit here and watch it in your living room with, some beers and some food and some pizzas. We were talking about that a little bit earlier today. I mean, that's a challenge, right, for all NFL teams right now, right? How do you get not the diehards, they're going to be there all the time, but how do you get the average fan there and to get them to have an experience in Paul Brown Stadium, they can't get anywhere else that they want to be in that stadium, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, sorry to be a broken record. It's about building community, building an experience that they can't get at home. Yeah, you can watch the game with a couple of folks. And I mean, like, you think of your best memories of watching the game at home. It's with friends jumping up and down after a game-winning kick, game-winning touchdown, whatever the case is. It's not watching the game by yourself. So take that to the next level, bring it into the stadium. Provide the sort of experience for folks to where they feel like the stranger next to them is their best friend. That's what we're trying to build, and you just can't compete with that. That's the reason why music festivals are so successful. It's the reason why MLS soccer has really grown in live audiences over the last few years. It's why people continuously come back to NFL games across the league. We want to provide that experience that they rarely get at home, and I would say never get to the level that we can provide inside a stadium.
Got it.
Seth, kind of building on that, will anything of what we're going to see new? I mean, naturally, as fans, we feed off the team. We hope the team, to a certain degree at home, feeds off our energy. Will there be anything to kind of enhance the home field advantage of Paul Brown Stadium this year that we'll be doing different?
So yeah, I think there is a bit of an education process for ourselves to learn how the fans react to certain content. But I'll be honest, we're going to do certain content that trains the fans. We want to teach them how to be as the best Bengals fans that possibly be. I've shot some ridiculous stuff with Chad Johnson already that's in the bag. We're planning on shooting a lot of content coming up over the next month with fans, wink at Bengals Gym, and with a lot of former players as well. Like, I think the things that are the most successful is when you kind of directly tell your audience what you want of them. And that's to be loud on first, second, and third down while the defense is on the field. That's how you build a home field advantage. And I have had experiences in the past with previous teams and such. It takes a lot to train up fans to be that engaged. And what our goal is not to just have the fans up when the things are going in their favor. We want the fans to be there to help out the team on the field. That's how you build a home field advantage.
Yeah, and Seth, I'll tell you, I found some great content. Again, I was all over the place on social media and YouTube and LinkedIn, everywhere. I found all kinds of great stuff. I learned more about you today, Seth, than I knew before the day started. I can tell you that. I would really challenge people to go out there and just type in Seth's name at Google, and there's some videos that are going to pop up. There's a really good, some pieces that he was responsible for, that he drove for the Kansas City Chiefs, that are amazing. And I loved it, Seth. So really good stuff. So that's why I'm even more excited today than I was yesterday, because of some of the stuff I've learned today. But, you talked about new traditions. I'm not sure how much you can dig into some of those, but some of the old traditions that have been there since I've been a little kid, right? I want to make sure that they stay in place, right? The Bengals growl, the touchdown song after Bengals touchdown, very uniquely Cincinnati Bengals. So you're talking about new traditions, but keeping some of the old traditional things we're doing as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, that is the one thing that unifies everybody today. Between the Bengals growl and Who Dey, those are the things that unify every fan in Who Dey Nation. So it's about finding more key moments around the game day to where we can unify everybody. And yeah, those things play a major part of it. So the old traditions are not going away. We're going to enhance them and make them a major part of the game day, not just after touchdowns, but at the appropriate moments that they can really fit in.
Great. So the jungle presentation stage, I think I read it was a 25 foot by 25 foot stage. Is it going to be, we're at on the plaza level? Where is that going to be at located? Do you know, or are you allowed saying? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you're good. Tentatively, it's going to be. I think I can say this. Southeast Notch. We'll see if my phone rings in a second and tells me that.
don't. You don't have to go there, Seth. Don't push it. You're good, brother.
But tentatively, it's over in the southeast notch. The idea was primarily to get the bridge in the background. Like that's the iconic shot that you see on TV all the time, is the Ohio River and the escalator, the world famous escalator. So we're gonna be going right over into that notch.
Yeah, it's great. Well, Seth, I know we told you 10 or 15 minutes. We're right at our time frame, and I would tell you, you talked about the music, the playlist. I do 100% agree with that. I do have a playlist if you need it, brother. I'm pretty versatile with music. I go all over the place from 80s hip hop to pop. Not a whole lot of country. Sorry, James, but I got a playlist if you need it at PBS. It's a good one. But Seth, look, man, it's the look and feel, everything within that organization is completely different. But I know you're playing a big role in that. I know you're not the only one, but I know you're a big piece of that, and we appreciate everything you're doing. Keep kicking ass, brother. I think it's important. The look and feel that everybody's being engaged and everybody feels what you're doing. You're on track, man. I know this doesn't happen overnight, and we're here to help in any way we can, man. But thanks so much for being with us, man. We're excited. We cannot wait. You know what? This Saturday is some of this stuff going to be previewed for us at the practice a little bit, maybe, or not.
So we're actually under construction inside the control room right now. So we are, like, just to let you know, we will be video boardless at Back Together Saturday. Sound system will be kicking. Dan and Dave will be piping through the building and everything. But no previews. But hey, to the guys, thank you so much for having me. Really do appreciate it. I love the support of the Bengals fan base. You guys are do or die, and it never disappoints to see how engaged the Bengals audience is. So my team sees it every single day, and it's very flattering. It really keeps us going day to day, just seeing the positive feedback that we've gotten over the last year. But yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad to drop off here before the research team actually digs up anything good. But I really do appreciate it, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Seth. We see you, buddy. Take care, man.
Thanks, Seth.
Thanks.
You got him in trouble, Jimmy. Good job.
Way to go.
I'm getting text messages. Uh-oh. But no, that was fun, man. I mean, he's really a big reason, the stuff we see and feel on social media right now. And again, I'm going to back up even further. Where does that start? Ownership group and Elizabeth Blackburn being a big part of that. And you heard him talk about his interview with Emily Parker and Elizabeth Blackburn. And Elizabeth Blackburn has been all over the city. I mean, I went to a Northern Kentucky Chamber event here a few weeks ago. She was at the Ken. Her and Katie showed up at the Ken Anderson Alliance opening ceremony, the ribbon cutting. I mean, she's been all over the place, and it's just a great feel, and the energy and positive feel coming out of that organization right now is a lot of fun. That's for sure. So
they're killing it. Like we've been saying all along, the engagement as a fan, the engagement that you're seeing now is on a level you've never seen with the Bengals.
Yep.
You've never seen this from the Bengals.
I agree completely. I mean, we wanted a little bit more. Just give us anything. Instead of 20%, they're giving us 110. It's awesome.
Like, when was the last time you were excited as a fan for Bengals football in February or March? You know what I mean? Like this team. Well, I mean, okay, besides maybe a few of the diehards for sure, but I'm saying from the team, like what the team's putting out.
Yeah.
You go scroll through Facebook, go back over the history over the last 2-3 seasons. It's nothing like you're seeing now.
It is the first off season that I can remember where I could look at the front office, and certainly some of the new, it comes from a lot of the new faces that we're finally seeing down there. But to say they do feel the same things as us, they do have the same emotions as us, they do want to win like we do, and it's certainly showing, and hopefully it'll show on the field as well.
Yep.
It's a good thing that Jamie can ask a question, because I think Jamie's question that was queued up is, can you play the Canadian national anthem when I'm in town?
Right. Yeah, that'd be nice. When I'm allowed to actually come to Cincinnati.
You're good.
All right. Well, guys, hey, we have somebody else in the waiting room, another very special guest with us. We have the man, the myth, the legend, our guy, Ken Anderson. So the Thursday was the Ring of Honor announcement. And Kenny, welcome to the show, and congratulations, buddy. We're happy for you, bud.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And gosh, it's great to be on with you guys again.
Hey, so one thing we failed, we totally messed up. We left our case of Keystone Light in the car. and we had mustaches we were going to wear, and we forgot to wear those things, Kenny. So we're going to wear those 81 mustaches.
Well, I better have my wife go get me a quick can of Keystone Light so I'm ready.
Yes.
That's just going to hold us over to that new beer comes out, and September when that new beer looks pretty exciting.
I hope so. It's Jim, you had a chance to taste the test batch, and I thought it was pretty good, and the can's going to look outstanding, so it'll be fun.
Yep.
So it's not going to threaten Keystone Light in any way, shape, or form.
I don't know.
It's a nice novelty item, and it's something that's going to benefit our foundation.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to interrupt you guys. I know we're talking about the Ring of Honor. We have someone that just popped in that wants to say a quick hello.
K.A. All right.
Yeah, what's going on?
You just nipped me, huh? You took my spot again.
Hey, are you coming in for the 81 team?
Hey, I'm planning on. I'm trying to. We got a game that night. They're trying to move it, so I'd love to.
Okay. Well, I hope you can, because I got it arranged. All the guys are going to meet over at the Holy Grail Wednesday night at 7.
Okay.
So, yeah. So let's get over there and tell some stories.
Never run out of those. That's for sure. That is really great.
No.
Who were the 4?
Paul Brown, Anthony Munoz, the 2 Hall of Famers, and then Kenny Riley and I.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Well, you had my vote all the way, so well done.
So
Pat, I appreciate that. If you had a vote, I would have appreciated it, but thank you very much.
Well, Kenny, I voted even though I didn't have a vote. So.
Well, I like you even more.
All right, guys, that's great. Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, no problem, Pat. No problem.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, bye-bye.
I hope we see you on the 30th, Pat.
All right, see you later. Bye now.
Bye.
There might be somebody else tiling in here any minute, Ken, to say congratulations, buddy. So you never know who's going to pop on the screen the next 10, 15 minutes. You never know.
I tell you, my idol, Pat McAnally. Jeez, you got to love that guy.
For every story you're able to share about Pat, the ones you can't share, I can't even imagine. So.
Well, he was a punter and a great punter for us. But every third year when his contract came up, before the season, said, Kenny, I need 15 catches this year, because he was like our 4th wide receiver. And that way he could go in to Mike and negotiate as a punter and wide receiver. So I made sure he got his 15 catches every contract year.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Funny. So, Kenny, look, man, congratulations. It is so cool, and the fans nailed it. We knew it was going to be you and Ken Riley. We freaking love it. But, going back, man, your first game, and actually it's funny, Josh and I were talking about this. I've got your first game ticket from September 19th, 1971. Against the Eagles, opening day. The Bengals were destroying the Eagles that day, and the rookie Ken Anderson comes in and throws, I don't know, two or three passes and has a 16-yard rush. That was your first game, opening day, 1971. You got to go in and play a little bit. But can you go back? I mean, can you ever imagine that you would have had your career 16 years, Super Bowl, Pro Bowls, MVP, passing titles, and now the Ring of Honor, and there's more coming hopefully for the Hall of Fame. Could you have ever imagined that game, during that game, or that time of the Cincinnati Bengals, that you would be where you're at today?
Well, I couldn't imagine ever getting to that first game. When you go to Batavia High School, my graduating class was 125, and you go to Augustana with 2,500 students, to Division III school. Your thoughts aren't on playing a professional sport, and to have that come to fruition, and Paul Brown and Bill Walsh and Mike Brown having the confidence in me and giving me a shot, and son of a gun, it turned out pretty doggone good.
Yep, it's unbelievable. I mean, I heard obviously a couple interviews Thursday, Kenny. I was out of town. I got to watch some of the interviews you were doing here locally with media. But I know you said that I think Mike Brown and Elizabeth Blackburn reached out to you to notify you about the Ring of Honor induction. Can you give us some details? Say that was just a phone call to you. How'd that happen? How'd that go down?
Well, no, I had talked to them when I was up in Cincinnati, talked to Elizabeth, at the grand opening of Just Brew, our coffee shop for the Ken Anderson Alliance, where we employ 14 adults with disabilities. And she said, hey, listen, my grandfather and I would like to call you next week. What's a good day? And I said, well, I'm traveling on Monday. How about sometime on Tuesday? So they they called me Tuesday morning.
That's awesome. So, are you able to dig into that call a little bit? I mean, was it Mike saying congratulations, Elizabeth? What was it like? If you're allowed sharing the details.
Well, no, it was Mike congratulating me, and we kind of reminisced about a lot of the good days, and and the good teams that we have, and I think that's the great thing about it. For Kenny and I going in the inaugural class is that sometimes people forget in this day and age how good the Bengals were and the traditions that we had. And we don't get a lot of respect around the country with the national media today. But back in the 70s and back in the 80s, we were as good as any team in the National Football League. And, we played, unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Steelers were in our division, who had one of the all-time great teams. You look at the Hall of Famers that were on their team, both offensive and defensively, and the coaching staff. But we had by far the best record against the Steelers of any team in the league, the best winning percentage. So, we were good. We had great traditions. And, you look at the players, from that era. I mean, my gosh, Isaac Curtis, is he the best the Bengals have ever had? And Bob Johnson and Trumpy and Lapham was the guy for the 70s, and Vernon Holland, a tackle, Rufus Mays, Essex Johnson, my gosh, number 19 out of Grambling, was as good any running back as we ever had. And unfortunately, in our playoff game in 73 against the Dolphins, he hurt his knee, wasn't quite the same after that. And, on defense, the Mike Reeds and the Tommy Casanovas and the Lamar Parishes. And, the kind of list goes on, Ron Carpenter and Royce Berry. And, now all of a sudden, at least for a brief moment in time, that people can go back and remember those great players in Bengal history.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think on social media over the years, they always talk about a Mount Rushmore for the Cincinnati Bengals, right? And the Bengal fans got it right, in my opinion here. Paul Brown, Anthony Munoz, Ken Riley, and you, Ken. I think it's amazing, man. For you to be in the Ring of Honor, you're one of Mount Rushmore of Cincinnati football history. But that Thursday night, September 30th, how special of a night is that going to be for you, Ken?
Oh, it's going to be super. Number one is we're talking about Pat, that they're also going to honor the 81 Super Bowl team, which they haven't done before. So a lot of those guys will be there, and to get to share some moments with them will be exciting. And then, of course, for the first Ring of Honor, and I guess kind of the exciting thing is my kids remember a little bit about my playing days, more my coaching days, but for my grandkids to be up in the stands and see Gramps down on the field one more time is going to be pretty special.
Got it. Josh, I think you had one.
Absolutely. Ken, you're a Cincinnati football legend. You went on to have a pretty predominant coaching career. I mean, it got you a Super Bowl ring. As a humanitarian, I mean, your work with adults with mental disabilities, with Just Brew Coffee House and the Autism Rocks, I mean, you're a step above. I'm a father of 4. When I take my children when they're a little older to Paul Brown Stadium and we see your name up on the facade in the Ring of Honor, what's the one thing that you would want to be remembered by as the Ring of Honor takes you in this year?
Oh, my God, boy, that's a tough one. Obviously you'd like to be remembered as a good player, but I think you'd like to be remembered as a player that maybe made a difference in Cincinnati. And, one of the proudest things, I am of is in 1975 when I was the NFL Man of the Year for some of the things that I did in Cincinnati. You talk about the Hall of Fame, you want to talk about an exclusive group. It's the Man of the Year. There's only one a year that they select. So that's a really exclusive group, and I'm glad to be part of that. And, and throughout the years, kind of continue that up. And now, of course, with the Ken Anderson Alliance. But I think it goes to show the class that our players had back in that era and the good that they did in the community. And for crying out loud, I mean, you look still today and what these guys are doing, whether it's Jimmy Breach and, of course, Anthony Munoz, does so much. And the number of players that have made their homes in Cincinnati and continue to make a difference in the community, a pretty good group of guys.
Ken, congratulations on Just Brew and the Ken Anderson Alliance. I stopped in Friday. You've got a great team working there. Coming from Augustana and coming in the NFL, I mean, I've read and heard from other players that Monday film sessions with Paul Brown were not something to boost your self-esteem, no matter how well you may have played. Was there a point in your career in the 70s where you really gained your confidence and said, I've got this. This is no problem. I could lead this team? Because you were, the Bengals. You were the player that defined the Bengals from when you came until later in your career when you kind of handed the ball to Boomer.
No, you never feel that way. And, you talk about those film sessions with Paul Brown, and he would walk in the meeting, and number one, the meetings, if it was a 9 o'clock meeting, the meeting started when he walked in the room. And if he walked in at 5 to 9 and you weren't in your chair, then you were late and you got fined. But he had his black baseball cap on. He had a white T-shirt on, his tan polyester pants, and his black coaching shoes. And he came in with a legal pad. And he never raised his voice. He could cut you right to the bone with his comments. Anderson, looks like this game's a little too big for you. And maybe it's time to find your life's work. So nobody ever wore a gray T-shirt into those meetings. Everybody always wore a white T-shirt so the pit stains wouldn't show, and you just in case you had a towel wrapped around your neck.
And a lot of people that are watching now had the opportunity to go to Canton as we lobbied for you and some other great Bengals to get in. Have you had an opportunity to see any of those videos or any of the social media posts from that day?
Yeah, no, I've seen some of it, and I'm really appreciative, to Jim and all you guys that organized that to bring awareness. And like I say, it's not just an awareness for myself. It's not just an awareness of Kenny Riley, but, the number of great players that we've had in this organization over the years. And gosh, I remember Mike Reed, as a defensive tackle in 1972, 5 sacks by himself against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, that just doesn't happen, anymore. And of course, Isaac Curtis is as good as any receiver in the National Football League that's ever been. And he's certainly, in my opinion, the best the Bengals have ever had. And Trumpy, I would say that he was Gronkowski before Gronkowski, that he was that tall, big tight end that could block the edge, but you could split him out and he could run wide receiver routes. I mentioned, Essex Johnson, and, but I think the list kind of just goes on and on. Lamar Parrish, the other cornerback from Kenny Riley. So we've had just such great tradition, and it's nice that people start to remember that.
Yeah, it's funny, Ken. I think you've answered this question, but I want to reiterate this for everybody watching. My question initially I had written down here: how important is it? Does this mean to you and your teammates, and how important is it to remember our past? You've answered that question already pretty thoroughly, right? So I think it's a great thing that the Bengals are doing, not just the Ring of Honor, but it seems, do you, Kenny, as a player, been around this organization your whole life for the most part, I mean, do you get a different feel out of this organization, than we did even just a few years ago?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think Elizabeth Blackburn has made a big difference. She's come in, she's young and she's vibrant, and, she wants to do things. I think, really listens to the fans. And I think the fans wanted a Ring of Honor. And I think she was the spearhead, behind this. And, sometimes grandpas don't listen to their kids, but they always listen to their grandkids. And the grandkids have a lot more influence than your normal kids.
That's a great point. So, I want to look, man, it means a lot, Kenny, taking a couple minutes with, I know you've had a whirlwind week here. I know you're traveling back home and all the stuff you guys have been doing, and the Ring of Honor announcement, all the media engagements that you've had. But, you also talked very eloquently about Ken Riley. Ken Riley, I think you said there was no other player that you played with longer than Ken Riley, I think. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. He was there when I got there, and he was there, almost to the end of my career, and, and played 15 seasons. And, my 16 trumps him by 1. Otherwise, he's got the most in Bengals history. But I think if you look back and his numbers speak for themselves, 65 interceptions. What is that, the 4th most all time in NFL history? And everybody that's got more ahead of him is in the Hall of Fame. And there are so many defensive backs that don't have as many that are in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what they're thinking. And, it's one of the tough things is when you go back to the 60s and the 70s when you played is, the game was totally different. It wasn't a passing game. It was a running game and a defensive game. And, my gosh, if quarterbacks threw 22 times a game, that was a lot. And so Kenny didn't have that many opportunities. And to come up with that many interceptions in a career is just a remarkable feat.
Yeah, it's interesting as we talk about some of our, the 8 legends, Cincinnati Bengal legends that we feel that should be in the Hall of Fame. It seems to be a pretty steady attribute that most of those 8, other than Chad Johnson, have a similar trait. Hard workers, humble, never gives themselves credit. It's always credit to somebody else. And Kenny, we know that's your demeanor. That's how you were raised, and that's how you've lived and worked and played the game so long. And it feels so good for you to get this honor to be in the Ring of Honor. That night on September 30th, I know it's going to be fun for the induction for the Ring of Honor and being on the field and everything that's going on, but I'm sure you're going to have more fun with your Super Bowl 16 teammates that week while they're in town as well, right?
Well, no question. And although I'm honored to go in the inaugural class for the Ring of Honor, especially from a quarterback, you don't go in without the support of everybody else. If I don't have that offensive line in front of me and the receivers making me look better than I am and a running game to take the pressure off the passing game, none of this happens. So I'm beholding to all my teammates over the years that kind of lets me go into the Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Well, Kenny, man, we appreciate you so much, man. You again, one of the 4 in the Bengals Mount Rushmore here in Cincinnati, and we appreciate everything you've done on the field, even more so the things you're doing with the Ken Anderson Alliance, and it impacts a lot of us here locally. And you have a great staff and a great group of people that work there, Kenny, and it's kind of fun to see that thing grow, and it continues to grow. It seems like you guys keep doing more and more and expanding the reach on that.
It's been a lot of fun and it's exciting, and that's something that keeps my wife Christy and I going. We're very passionate about this, and she is as active as I am in this whole thing. But I think that my number one goal for this season is to get Kenny's Dey Drinking Lager at your tailgate before Bengal home games.
Oh, I think Dell is going to make that happen, brother. We're going to have and it's beers, Kenny, as used as a light beer. We can have more than 1 or 2 at the tailgate and be fine. It's not like these IPAs these days where you can only have 1 of those or you're done, right? So it's a Dey Drinking Lager.
That's right. I mean, you can't start and drink it all day unless you start in the morning at a tailgate, right?
That's right. That's absolutely right. Well, Kenny, brother, it means a lot. We appreciate it, and we really look forward to seeing you in town for the Ring of Honor induction on the 30th, brother. And be safe. Tell the family we said, hey, man, and we will see you then. Thanks again, man. It means a lot.
Well, I'm going to be opening day, and I'll probably show up at your tailgate for opening day as well.
Well, you'll have the mic, and you'll be able to do a toast with your beer to the rest of the crowd. It'll be the first toast here in Cincinnati. Ken Anderson opening day at the tailgate. We will have 300 to 500 people at that tailgate, and Kenny will do a toast if he's able to make it. That'd be great, Kenny.
That sounds great to me. Thanks,
all right, brother. Good day, buddy.
Thanks, Kenny. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ken.
That's Ken.
Sounds very best.
Sounds like fun. A beer with Kenny.
Picking up. It's going to be a good year.
It's good stuff. I mean, we were hoping that. I know 16 Lot's been working really hard on the beer, man. So it's coming. So those cans are supposed to drop on the 5th. But what just a class guy, and it's so funny listening to him. In every interview I heard from this week in my life with Ken Anderson, it's never about him ever.
Never.
It's always about his offensive line. He kept saying, well, I got really good when my offensive line got good. Well, I got good when I had better receivers. And Kenny, at some point, people, him, Ken Riley were the same type of mentality, same personality. They don't pound their chest. It's always about somebody else and how can I make the team better? And I love that. I just love that. I wish more people were like that, to be honest.
Yeah, tell me that's not a Hall of Fame attitude.
Yeah, Jimmy, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that, Jimmy. There's a kind of a famous quote from Paul Brown where he was talking about players, and he was talking to the media, and he said, I'm not interested in these players who come to me and say, I had this many sacks, I had this many tackles, I gained this many yards. He said, I'm interested in players that want to know if, we won and lost and can make the players around them better. And that's our Ken Anderson. Yeah. And it was true his entire career, and it'll be true the day he gets that gold jacket.
Dude, can you imagine, James, the first tailgate, Ken Anderson standing up on the block? We're going to have the speakers, and we're going to have at least 300 to 500 people, if not more. It's going to be a big blowout. Kenny holding up the Kenny Dey Lager beer, doing a toast. It's going to be outstanding.
I remember the not the first time Kenny came, but the first time we were in Lot E in the corner. I believe it was the San Francisco game. It was 85 degrees, beautiful sunny day, and Kenny was there toasting. I think they had special bourbon there that day, and what a fun day that was. And this one will be 3 times as good with more people, and as you alluded to, drinking the Kenny beer. So it's exciting. As others have said, charity work that he does is first class. Obviously, we love nothing more than seeing him in this first Ring of Honor class, and hopefully the next step will be Canton very soon.
Yeah, Josh, I really love the question you ask about, hey, I've got my 4 kids. When they look up and see number 14, Ken Anderson, on that Ring of Honor, what do you want them to think? And he immediately got uncomfortable and went, it's about my teammates. But that was a great question. I mean, because, I know what I'm going to tell my kids about Ken Anderson, the greatest quarterback to ever put on a Cincinnati Bengal uniform. And we've had some damn good ones come through this organization as well. But and not just the stuff on the field, but the guy off the field, just as classy. So we got a couple things that Josh, we wanted to do this earlier before Kenny came on, but we wanted to do our segment, our memorabilia segment today as it related to Ken Anderson. So we have some good stuff. Let's pop those up here, Jamie, if you're able to find those. So we have some pictures and.
I forgot we got memorabilia to go through.
Yeah, we'll go through a couple of these for sure. So Josh, go ahead and.
So right here, the Bengal Gym, Bengals fan club. We talked about these bobbleheads before. These were some of the prototypes of Ken. That first one there on the far left was the one that they went with.
Yep.
The one there in the middle was initially going to be picked up by Coors Light. I don't really know what happened as to why they said no, but it passed. And then that third one there on the far right has that official Cincinnati Bengals fan club logo on it. I believe when I talked to Dave Slyby, he said cost effective. They went with the one on the far left. But
yeah, actually, it's funny when Dave presented these things to us. The very first one he presented for the fan club was the one on the very, very right. And as you can see, that logo, the tiger head, they could not get right. It just the tiger looked sick, looked like it was on his last leg there. So we just decided to go with the one on the very left. And I never did really get to scoop on the Coors Light with the black helmet and the orange stripes as to why Coors didn't do that. What they would do is just print those things up and go pitch them to whatever company they wanted to pitch them to. But yeah, very cool set there that I have in my collection as well.
That's awesome. It's a good set. Looks like a custom McFarland, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a custom. I had this made. I really wanted a Ken Anderson, white uniform from the 70s. There's detail on here you can't even imagine, but a beautiful one of a kind, one of one Ken Anderson little figure there. I love it, man. It's in my collection. I also have a Ken Riley one as well.
Okay, so this bobblehead right here was a giveaway for the Florence Freedom minor league baseball team in Florence, Kentucky. One night in August for about 4 or 5 years, they would have an "Are you ready for some football" night? Yes, I didn't say it wrong. It's a minor league baseball team paying homage to "Are you ready for some football?"
Yep.
They would do bobbleheads for the Cincinnati Bengals. They had Boomer Esiason, Giovanni Bernard, a couple other players, but that was a Ken Anderson and Anthony Munoz bobblehead night that they did duel. It's a very mini, very small bobblehead, but it's a really cool piece.
Yeah. And the next couple will be part of the same series, Josh.
Yeah, this one here.
I'm sorry. Go back to that first one.
Yeah, that one there. 1981, Shell Gasoline Company. You'd fill up your gas tank. You'd receive one of these prints. There you have Ken Anderson. There's another one with Anthony Munoz as he's blocking for Ken Anderson. There you see that Ken Anderson autographed that piece. There were 6 in total. They're just black and white, look like sketching prints, but that's a really awesome set if you can get all 6 together. It's a really cool piece.
Yep. So this next one, this is not an original print. I for the life of me, I cannot find an original print, and I'm looking for my notes here. But this is a series that was done by I think the artist's name was Jack Davis. But that is a Bengal tiger with Ken Anderson on the back there. I don't know what year it was, but I absolutely love the black and white sketchings here.
Very cool. There you go with the Sports Illustrated Ken Anderson poster, rocking the bicentennial patch. I believe we've actually shown this piece a few weeks ago, but that's got to be hands down the coolest Kenny poster. He's rocking the old school Bengals helmet, bicentennial patch, and you just know he's getting ready to drop a bomb on somebody right there with that pose.
Yeah, and I think that patch was only wore one game, if I'm not mistaken. Was that right, Tom? I think it was one game that year they wore it.
One. That was actually a preseason game. I think it was also worn in the Super Bowl. So, but that was at the Hall of Fame game in '75.
Very
cool.
cool.
Bengals wore that
Against the Redskins, I think.
Yeah.
This is a Gene Sani did some prints for us of our Bengal legends that we were recognizing up in Canton for the Jungle to the Hall event. This is the one that he did for us for Ken Riley. There's one original, which is that one, and there's 10 prints. That's it. There's 11 total, one original and 10 prints. That is it. But Gene Sani is actually doing two more for us right now. He's doing Max Montoya and Lamar Parrish. But this print is freaking awesome. We love it.
Hands down, the coolest Cincinnati Bengals pennant that exists. The Anderson Airlines Ken Anderson Bengals pennant. There's actually two versions of it, one with the orange felt, one with black, extremely rare. I actually don't even have one of these, as Bengal Jim and Tom have the others, so a deal is going to have to be struck somewhere along the lines there. But it's just an absolute cool pennant. It shows Kenny right there in a caricature on the left. I love that caricature stuff. All this stuff came out after he broke that record in Houston for the completions in a row. Just awesome collectibles and just a true collectible that any Bengals fan has to have.
Yep. And we can skip the ticket, but that ticket is the one I just showed Kenny. His first game ever as a Cincinnati Bengal. He came in as the Bengals destroying the Philadelphia Eagles opening day. They were 34 to something. And he went in for Virgil Carter late and threw a couple complete passes and had a 16-yard rush. But that's the actual game ticket for that game.
$7.25. You can't even buy a beer for that now.
No, it's ridiculous. So right here we have an RC Cola can featuring Ken Anderson. This was a set that came out that featured 10 Cincinnati Bengals. Every team in the league had these cans, but our team, the Cincinnati Bengals, featured 10 different cans. As you can see, the stat line there: 6'2", 210 pounds. Years pro, 7. College, Augustana. So I mean, it's a really cool can, really cool collectible right there.
Yeah, got a few more to go through here. This is part of my collection right here as well. These right here were stuck in. If back in the old days, you'd buy I think there were 6 packs of Pepsi or Coke, and they would stick those in those six packs. And there was, I don't know, maybe 12 to 15 Bengal players that were on these. You could order. It was a marketing piece to do, to sell stuff basically. But you get a free T-shirt. You could actually trade those. The middle section you see with Ken Anderson's head right there, those were circles that popped out. I think, Josh, you have all of those circles framed, I think, right?
I do. I framed the whole set. Basically, you had to collect every single one of them. If you pop them out and mailed them in, they'd give you a T-shirt.
Yep. Cool stuff.
I think this might be the last piece we have. This is actually a new-made butter cup. So that used to have a lid on it. That little cup was filled with butter. There's 7 Cincinnati Bengals that were featured on these cups. But Ken Anderson, of course, the 1981, because you can see the stripes are on there. So an interesting question came up earlier. I was asked what Ken Anderson memorabilia is worth the most, mustache or non-mustache. But my argument, 81, MVP of the league and a Super Bowl appearance. So mustache, Ken Anderson mustache apparel. #1 Bengals memorabilia collector item.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And I think I have 4 of the 7, and those are hard to come by too, Josh.
Yeah, cool set. Get them all together. That's a great set. Ken Anderson, I mean, he's got it all. He's got pennants, cups, jerseys, posters, balls. I mean, hey, he's the legend. He's the icon.
Yeah, we could have went through a lot more Kenny Anderson stuff, guys, but that we obviously for the sake of time. But that was some cool stuff, man. Thanks a lot, Josh, for hanging on for that. So, guys, I mean, I had a lot of fun tonight, man. I hope everybody watching right now did. Seth Tanner was awesome. Everything you see and feel right now that's coming out of the Bengals from a content perspective, it's Seth. And I still want to back up again. It starts with the ownership group making this all happen. Elizabeth being a big part of driving that. So it's so fun. And Ken Anderson coming on, class act, just such a cool thing to do. One of my all-time favorites. It's just, I still can't believe as I sat there as a 10-year-old watching the 81 Super Bowl, crying at the end of that game profusely, that I'm sitting here talking to Ken Anderson. It's just a crazy feeling for me. So, guys, that's another great show, guys. Just kind of closing statements kind of go around. I don't know if you want to kind of start it off, Tom.
Well, we've been celebrating the past with Ken Anderson in the Ring of Honor, but training camp's here. The guys are in town. They're working. and we may get another piece of the puzzle tomorrow with a top-line Super Bowl offensive center, and there are even some rumblings on social media that there may be another guy or two to visit this week. So we'll be transitioning from celebrating a very successful offseason to victories on the field with our current team.
Is that me next?
Yep.
Someone asked in the chat earlier if I'm hanging out at a soup kitchen. I can assure you I'm not in a soup kitchen. And I am safe. And I appreciate your concern.
Oh, gosh. Josh, you can follow that.
Yeah, Seth was he was a great guest. It's like I already said it earlier, but I wanted a little bit more from our franchise, just a little more fan involvement. And instead of just the little inch I wanted, they're giving us a mile. It's a roller coaster ride with everything that they have going on, and I'm completely appreciative of everything they're doing. I'm super excited for the season. One last time, I want to shout out for August 28th, the Cincinnati Bengals Memorabilia Roadshow. Please come out, have a beer with us. Bring an item that means something to you. Share a story with us. It's going to be a great show and tell event for Bengals fans. I think we have the best fan base in the NFL. It's just time for us to show it. We're building a monster. Please come out, join this family, join this fan base. It's going to be a great season. Who dat?
So, Tom, I was expecting you to say this, but I'm going to cover you. Obviously, Ken Anderson, Ken Riley, and the Bengals, Ring of Honor. But as we've been promoting all summer, stay vigilant on social media for the Hall of Fame. The Ring of Honor is first class, and all four gentlemen are well deserving of that. But just to keep the momentum going from the Hall of Fame event that we did in June, do what you can on social media, keep promoting, and
Willie Anderson too.
Tweeting. Yep, all three of them. So keep that press going as you've done all year. Side note, we are going to have a Bengal Gyms Fantasy Football League. There's going to be a $50 entry fee. I think there's 14 spots or 12 spots left. We'll have the official link next week. That money's going to go to charity. You're going to have bragging rights. We'll probably recap the standings on the show every week during the football season. So stay tuned to that. If you're interested, we'll post that next week. 12, don't quote me, 12, 13 spots left on that. $50 entry fee with the money going to charity. And yeah, look forward to I'm not going to be there Saturday, but for those that can make it, have fun at the back together at Paul Brown Stadium. It's Bengals are, as everybody said, are just, you got the full court press on social media. Obviously, the in-game experience, Seth knocked it out of the park. I think you're going to see a lot of exciting things there in the jungle this year. And let's ready for football. I know here school's back in session Thursday, so when school's back in session, that means football is right around the corner. So here we are for the 2021 campaign.
Yep. Well, good stuff, man. Everybody watching and viewing tonight, thank you so much. Again, by the fans, for the fans. This isn't work for me, guys. I'm just having fun with this, and all the stuff that we're doing, kind of putting things together has been a lot of fun, and you guys being part of it is very special for us. But a couple quick things. Congratulations, Sam Hubbard. Nice contract, brother. Let's have a great 4 years here and get another extension after that one. We talked about the show format changing like we do every year. We've done this every year since we've been doing this, right? At some point, we change from the Sunday night to Tuesday night when we get closer to the middle of the football season here, preseason. So I think right after that first preseason game, August 17th, we'll be moving the show from Sunday night to Tuesday night, same time frame. So we'll kind of keep talking about that over the next few weeks. Sorry, the Memorabilia show, we talked about 828. Thanks, Josh, for doing that. The Blind Pig, July 31st, James just hit on. Guys, we have the entire place to ourselves from 11 to 2 o'clock, okay? So there's no reservation. You can just show up or not show up, but we will be there. Hopefully the weather's good for us. It's going to be a fun day down at Paul Brown Stadium and the Blind Pig for sure. But and one last final thing, guys. Congratulations to Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. It's just one thing to hear and see Ken Riley talk about how he feels being in there. Very modest, obviously, right? I can tell you, it's not just the players; it's their families. As we know, dealing with Ken Riley II and his family, the roller coaster ride they have been on with the Hall of Fame discussion, and just the reaction that Barbara, Ken Riley's wife, and Ken Riley II's mom very emotional time for them. So it's going to be a very special night that Thursday on September 30th when Ken Riley's family's coming in town, Ken Anderson, the Super Bowl 16 team. That is going to be a very special night. So tailgate's going to be ridiculous. That the game's going to be great. We're going to kick Jacksonville, but the presentation for the Ring of Honor is going to be outstanding. I cannot wait for that game. So, guys, we appreciate you guys viewing. We will see you next Sunday. We've got a couple special guests lined up that we'll be disclosing here later in the week here, but we'll see you guys next week. Hoo day, and thanks again.
Hoo day.
Good day.